Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe. Our sports ticker tonight brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. The Big Ten men's tournament's continuing today in Chicago. Final from earlier today, Rutgers beat Michigan 62-50, all but ending Michigan's NCAA tournament hopes. Ohio State's run continues. They knocked off fifth-seeded Iowa 73-69, just underway. Penn State and Illinois, the Nittany Lions lead 27-20. Late first half, Penn State also a bubble team. Later tonight, Minnesota will take on Maryland. We will review the Huskers' loss from last night against the Gophers coming up tonight here on the show. Huskers beach volleyball team will play 12 matches over the next 9 days in Hawaii and California. The Big Red will face the Cal Bears tomorrow along with the Hawaii Rainbows. Husker softball traveling to Wichita this weekend to face the nationally ranked Shockers and the Bears from Missouri State. They'll face Wichita State tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Husker baseball will continue their 10-game homestand tomorrow afternoon against Illinois State. First pitch of the weekend series set for 4:05. Our pregame coverage begins at 3:30. The 1890 Initiative, helping Husker student-athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for another night of Sports Nightly coming up on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
First pitch to Josh. Breaking ball hammered to left. That is absolutely crushed. Way out of here over the hitting facility in left field.
Now the Huskers were scrambled. Here's Shelley for three. Top of the key. You betcha. Jazz Shelley with a triple.
Rhule with a basketball, drives the ball all the way to the hoop, puts it up, and in! Holy smokes! Holy cow! Sam Rhule puts Nebraska ahead by one.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to our Thursday edition of Sports Nightly. I'm very disappointed that we're here tonight.
I know.
Thought we would be with Kent and Jake in Chicago.
I thought so too. I really did not think we would have to worry about doing a full show today. I was banking on it. I mean, I really felt good about how this team played against Iowa and finding ways to win despite things not going the way they needed to go, like, you know, getting out rebounded and giving up the offensive boards and the second chance points. But, you know, when Coach Hoiberg and I were talking during his show the other day, he was a bit concerned about this matchup, just that Minnesota was coming on at the end. They were playing hard. They'd found a little bit of a rhythm. They had played some teams really close. And, you know, they've done a heck of a job keeping that team together despite not winning a lot of games. And, you know, unfortunately, the Huskers just could not find the plays at the end to, you know, kind of take it away from them.
There was a little flatness to Nebraska. And on the BTN broadcast, they mic'd up the huddles a couple of times. And the time that they showed Coach Hoiberg in the first half, he was like, guys, we got to go. We got to go now. We got to go. I think he even knew there was kind of a lack of energy at times last night. And they didn't, I'm not trying to say they didn't compete because they did. They played hard, I thought. But they just couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't make the play or the shot to give them the lead in the second half. And that's hard when you're always chasing.
And that's exactly what I said. Felt like a switch had flipped with this team, is that you felt like they were believing and confident enough to go make those plays, you know, and they did that against Iowa. They've done that a few times here in this winning streak where they've, you know, found a way to go make those plays, and they just couldn't get it done last night. And so, yeah, I mean, and I hate it for Sam Rhule if that was the last play, you know, of his career, because, you know, he's just trying to go make something happen for this team. He just wanted it so bad. You know, just there's so many things that you could point to. Minnesota hasn't been a great free throw shooting team, yet they shot it really well. They made the free throws when they needed to. They haven't been a great three-point shooting team. They knocked down some threes, you know, some big-time threes. And, you know, Nebraska did make the plays. And they had opportunities. They had the opportunity. They just could not get over that hump. Kind of the same thing with the women's team when they played Michigan State.
Right.
Could not get over the hump.
Right behind the whole time.
Yeah.
Just could never quite catch up. You know, there's a couple great debates in basketball. Do you foul at the end of a game on a three?
You foul against a Fred Hoiberg team. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
You miss the free throw against a Fred Hoiberg team.
And do you call a timeout on a possession late? And last night, that's the debate today, is should Coach Hoiberg have used that timeout when Nebraska's bringing it up with like 6 seconds to go in the game? He let it play through, and the ball went off of Sam out of bounds. in my mind, I was kind of thinking, I think we need a timeout here because Coach Hoiberg is so good at designing actions to get a guy a shot. And I kind of wanted one of those things to be designed. I think he thought Sam had an avenue to the basket, so he didn't want to call it. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but in my mind, when I'm watching, I'm like, I wish we would have called the timeout.
I thought you were going to go back to the free throw at the end, but no. So my take is that we've heard how much Fred thinks of Sam and believes in Sam, and Sam had some success getting to the rim.
He had.
So I think for him, this is a veteran guy that has done so much for this team that you've trusted, and you give him a chance to go make the play. I think if you didn't give him a chance, like maybe Sam would have been a little disappointed that you didn't give him the opportunity. I think it was there. Probably Fred had all of the faith and trust in the world in Sam Griesel to go make a play, and he wanted to give him that opportunity. That's my take. I mean, yes, Coach Hoiberg is fantastic, which is why I was going back to, you do not give him a chance to draw up a play in a timeout, but also you maybe save that timeout for later. You never know. But I think for him, in his mind at that moment, you give Sam Griesel a chance to go make the play.
It's tough because Casey's so deadly. You run him off a couple of screens, and man, he almost made the half-court shot at the end of the game. Casey almost dropped that in there.
I know, but I think for you have, and I'm sure this was not going through his mind at the time, but for everything that Sam Griesel has meant to this program, and being the hometown kid and giving him a chance to go make that huge play at the end. And he had gotten to the rim, and it had some tough finishes, some great looks, some great finishes. He had knocked down 2 free throws too, which also gives you a bit of confidence too going to the line. If he gets fouled, you have trust and a lot of confidence in him going down and knocking down those free throws. But yeah, I mean, in a game like that, you can always point to a play here or there, but there were a lot of plays and a lot of moments that could have changed the tide that the Huskers didn't go make a play when they needed to.
Yeah, and again, when they got up to the 8-0 start, it could have maybe been 15-0. Nebraska, I think, was really excited. Jamarcus put up a couple of errant shots early in the game. Gophers couldn't hit anything in the first 4 or 5 minutes. Nebraska had that 8-0 start. And again, maybe could have built a bigger lead. And who knows, if you get up 14-0 on Minnesota, they might have said, yeah, bad year, we're done. But it is what it is. I look back, and the season may not be over. We'll find out if they get an NIT bid. All that will come out Sunday night. It's going to be close. I think they're right on that bubble of making the NIT or not. I think the coaches felt like they needed to win 1, maybe 2 in Chicago to lock in an NIT bid. But we'll find out Sunday night when all that comes out. But when I look at the past 12 months, I feel like Coach Hoiberg has put together a staff that can make this work. I really like the additions of Ernie Ziegler and Adam Howard. I think those guys, I think it was an upgrade of where it was for Fred the first 3 years here. And I also think they've known for months, Jessica, that they were going to have to attack the portal here in March and April. And so I think they're really set up to do that. So I think even though they're losing Sam and Derek and maybe Casey, and obviously Emmanuel is gone, I think that they're ready to go attack the portal and add some bodies to this team to be competitive again next year.
And, Fred, actually, we had a couple questions on the text line from listeners the other night during his show, and he talked about, the portal, what he looks for. I think he's got a better feel for the kind of player that he needs and wants, and he hit it out of the park this year with the guys he got from the portal. But also, I think he's really excited about the young talent that's here, the core that's here, and the talent that they're bringing in. So I think, there's a good nucleus, and they found a recipe for success. And he also talked a lot about, and this is so key, how important is this that, how many times have we seen this in sports and all sports, the fact that Jamarcus Lawrence got the experience that he did learning from Emmanuel Bandamel and Sam Griesel and seeing that kind of leadership. All these players saw how those leaders led the team. I mean, we heard Jake Muehlheisen talking about this last night, and with Coach Linzer about how it's a coach-led team, player-driven, right? And that's a lot of times the most successful teams are player-driven, and it was player-driven. And I think hopefully these young players will get a feel and understanding of what that looks like, being that they were underneath such incredible leaders this year.
So obviously they're going to keep their eye on the NIT board Sunday night, but if that doesn't go their way, it's time to start looking. And the portal's starting to already pop. There's already a lot of schools' seasons are over because they've had their conference tournaments, so there's a lot of names floating into that portal already. Nebraska's appearing on some guys' list that they're interested in, and Nebraska's already made contact. So I know, even while they were in Chicago game planning for Minnesota and working on that, they're already starting to look ahead. And you have to do that because that's now the recruiting world. It's about a 6-week world that you live in college basketball that you got to go find the Sam Griesels and the Juwan Garys and the Emmanuel Bandamels.
And I think, again, we just heard about the new 1890 just, signed a deal with Husker Hoops and brought on Husker Hoops. So you have, obviously the NIL. You saw what the fans did this year. I mean, anytime you have somebody come and step in that arena and fill that atmosphere, I mean, I've had so many people tell me that it's some of the loudest atmospheres. I mean, my dad said it, the way that this fan base got behind this team this year and how that's what every basketball player wants to play in. An atmosphere like what PBA was at the end of this season.
Right.
That's what you dream of playing in front of. So if you have that chance to play in front of that kind of crowd, you have a coach like Fred Hoiberg who has proven that he can develop guys to get to the NBA. He's got a lot of them in the NBA from Iowa State, even a couple from here. He's got guys, and he knows how to get guys there. His staff knows how to get guys there. They've worked in the NBA. That's the dream for guys. There's so many positives for players to want to come here and play that year and then, and finish their career here or play a year here, whatever it might be, however much time they have left. There's a lot to sell for this program right now.
Sam Griesel, what a game. 16 points, 12 rebounds. He just played his heart out, as he really did all season long. A couple of texts have come in. John in Kansas said, top 100 teams make the NCAA and NIT. Nebraska is certainly one of the top 100 teams. I agree with that. That's not really how it works, though, John. It's really not the top 100 teams because the NCAA takes all those automatic winners from lower level conferences, so they get in, and the NIT is the safety net for teams who are in a conference, say like the Missouri Valley or the Horizon or the Summit. If you win the regular season but lose your conference tournament, the NIT is obligated to take you, and that has chewed up 14 or 15, I lost track, 14 or 15 spots are already gone out of the 32-team field, so you only have a little more than half to fill it up. So it's really not the top 100 teams that make both tournaments.
And it's kind of like, for men and women both needed chalk to happen. You needed everybody to win that was supposed to win. Because if you're a bubble team for the NCAA tournament, you get, and then there's teams that go through a conference tournament, get that automatic qualifier, and then the automatic qualifier that was already going to qualify no matter what.
Gets in.
So that's where you needed, both men's and women's teams needed the conference tournaments to go like everything how it was supposed to go. And, there's still an opportunity. It's not done yet, and who knows, what kind of conversations they're having, because that's another part of my argument is you have to look at the way Nebraska played in February, and they were a really good team in February. They were not the same team that they were in January, in December, in November. And, so I think, that's where hopefully that's where, if you're a Nebraska fan, maybe you're hoping that the committee that's selecting is taking a look at, well, hey, wait a second. Look what Nebraska did at the end of the season. That's a team playing some really good basketball right now. And that's the kind of teams that you want in the postseason. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Women still hoping for an NCAA bid. That pairing comes out Sunday night as well. So does the WNIT. It's a bigger tournament. The women's NIT is 64 teams, where the men's is 32. There's no doubt the women are going to be at least in that. So they will be playing more basketball in the weeks to come. We just don't know whether it's the NCAA or the NIT. Again, all that comes out on Sunday night. Jim in Columbus said, seems to me like the entire team as an individual was just off enough last night that they couldn't come through with a win. Yeah, something just wasn't quite clicking last night. I can't put my finger on it. I thought Derek played really hard. He ended up with 12 points, 5 assists.
It was hard for him. He had a hard night.
He did have a hard night.
They did a good job on him. Minnesota played probably their best game of the year, and Nebraska didn't.
Correct.
They played some of their best basketball down the stretch, but they did not bring it their best basketball last night, and Minnesota did. And that's where sometimes you got to tip a cap to the other team, because they just flat out played better than you. And I just thought Minnesota brought their A game last night, and not for lack of trying, but Nebraska just didn't have their A game last night.
John in Omaha said on our text line, I'm so disappointed, but I'm so grateful for the season coach and the Huskers produced for us. It got better as time went on. We saw real growth, and unfortunately the final game kind of reverted back. But it's obvious to me coaching is not the issue. If he gets the personnel that he's comfortable with, I think next year could be a bright year for the Huskers. Go Big Red. John, great take. I think you're right, and I think they also – I think Fred kind of has figured out what it takes to win in this league a little bit. I think it took him a while to kind of figure out the Big Ten. The style's a little different than the Big 12. You got to be a little bit more physical. You got to be a little bit more defensive oriented. And I think he's figured that out a little bit. And hopefully they can go find the next Sam Griesel and the next Juwan. Well, they do have Juwan, Emmanuel Bandamel to add into the mix for this team.
And I think how much sports changed over the last, few years, and even just the time that he left Iowa State and went to the NBA, there was a lot of changes that took place. So I think even just figuring out, college basketball again after, getting a better a feel again for how it, it's so different. And if you are out of it and get back in, it's just kind of maybe an adjustment period too, when you step away and come back in.
Doug in Norfolk says sometimes the NIT looks at your average attendance, maybe that gets you a spot. Doug, that's changed a little bit because the NCAA has taken over the men's side of the NIT. They seed it just like they do the NCAA tournament, and really attendance is kind of a non-factor. Now, I don't think if Nebraska gets in, they're not going to host. They're not going to have a high enough, unless the team they're going to play can't host, and then maybe they get it that way. But the women, I think, definitely, if they're in the NIT, and I hope I'm wrong, I hope they're in the NCAA, but if they're in the NIT, I think the women are going to have a couple home games coming up here soon.
Yes.
So, love all the texts coming out. Keep them coming, folks. Hey, First Interstate Bank, built for you. Learn more at www.firstinterstatebank.com, member FDIC. Folks, we got the head football coach coming up here in a couple minutes. Matt Rhule's going to stop by. Talk to him before he jets out of here for spring break. Everybody's leaving campus. We're going to get our parking spots back next week. It's going to be glorious to be able to park right out in front of our building again. We haven't been able to do that for several months. But he's coming in here in a few minutes. Hour 2, Jessica caught up with Ed Foley, who's kind of been put in charge.
He's the commissioner
of competition week, right?
He's the commish.
He's a perfect commissioner.
Yes, and he has been. That's his title. He takes pride in it. So if you're wondering what's going on with all of these videos that are being posted on Husker football social media, we got you covered.
He's got it. Ed Foley, love him. He's the special teams coordinator for the Cornhuskers. That's coming up in hour 2. Jessica's going to continue her Title IX features with a talk with Heather Brink. Great gymnast in her day. Now Husker women's gymnastics coach now here at the University of Nebraska. So full show. Keep those text calls coming. 402-413-2400. The head football coach coming up next.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
You ain't seen nothing.
This is Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get up and get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. Like a Ford F-150 or the all-new Ford Super Duty. Or check out Ford Maverick and Ford Ranger pickups. So get into Ford Truck Month and see what a built Ford Tough truck can do for you. There's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. Based on 1977 to 2022 calendar year total sales.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're a fan, you wear your team's jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. After a win, your world glistens. Lose, and the hurt permeates your soul. You'll always have a place with us in the Cox Fan Zone, where everyone can play and connect with other fans in a big group hug. See, in the Fan Zone, you're not some crazy fan. You're home.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharpe, voice of the Huskers. Say Fan Zone into your Contour Voice remote to play. Not at home? Visit cox.com/fanzone. Go Huskers.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
The Lead Center for Performing Arts is celebrating 33 years of bringing the world's top artists to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln campus. Upcoming shows include Hamilton, Yo-Yo Ma, American Ballet Theater, and Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. Get tickets at leadcenter.org.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Delighted to be joined by the head football coach of the Cornhuskers, Matt Rhule. How many of you are there? I mean, you're at coaches' clinics, you're at sporting events, you're at conditioning practice. Man, you've been running hard.
It's been fun, though. I mean, you get a chance to get across and see a bunch of great people, and I had a chance to go to Kansas City last night with Evan Cooper, E.J. Barthel, and Rob Dvorak, and get with those coaches, talk a little bit about what we're trying to do here, and continue to build connections. I think Kansas City will be really important to us moving forward. So you can't just show up and hope people are going to send their kids to you. You have to go out and build those relationships. So did that and got back, and we were out there this morning at 6 a.m. for the Husker games, and having a lot of fun with these kids as they hit this team commitment week and head into spring ball.
You've been here about 3 months. You haven't really spent much time in this part of the country, this far north at least. What have you learned about Nebraska, about UNL, Lincoln? What has kind of struck you?
Well, I think you start with the people. I mean, I don't know that I've met a bad person. You meet people go out of their way to be kind and accommodating and welcoming. I think when I go into the schools, I'm really impressed with the commitment to education in the state, the facilities, the school facilities themselves, not just athletics, but just all around. People, we seem to use our tax dollars wisely and invest in the youth, which I think is important. But I think it's a good life. You know what I mean? I know they say the good life, but I think it's a good life, and it's a great place that Julie and I are excited to raise our daughters.
You've been off the road recruiting for 4 or 5 weeks now, so you've had a chance to really get to know your team. What are your impressions of your team?
Well, I know that they're good young men. They work hard and they try to do what we ask them to do. All the things we're doing right now really aren't football. We do some football movement, some walkthroughs, some meetings. They've made some. They've acquiesced and allowed some things to happen now. So we're trying to do those things, and the guys are learning the systems. But what we're trying to do right now is build mental and physical toughness, trying to build strength and mobility, trying to build a sense of brotherhood, trying to build confidence. When you do a lot of hard things, you start to have a little bit of confidence about you, like, hey, you know what, I can do that, So we're trying to build those things. Those guys have done that. Now the next transition, the next step is to go play football and see if any of it carries over.
How much, Coach, can you learn in this phase of the calendar about who your leaders might be?
You can learn a lot. I think it's really hard for the guys right now because they don't know what each day brings. Next year we'll say, hey, team commitment week is this week, and they'll know exactly what it means. So I think if anything, it's kind of a fun time because, these guys are starting to just show up and say, hey, what do you got for us, Coach? And that's a really cool place to be, as opposed to the anxiety of, hey, what's coming. But I think you see guys that attack it. I just think it's this kind of continuum of, okay, who can do it during spring ball, who can do it during training camp. What happens when you're a team leader but you're not having the success that you want? Can you put the team first? Can you put your teammates first? Can you be happy for the guy at your position who maybe plays a little bit more than you play? I mean, there's a lot of things that go into a football team, and a football team's dynamic, and the best teams are the most unselfish ones. So we can learn a lot, but really you have to kind of get into the grind of the season and see who can withstand the ups and downs of a football season.
Matt Rhule with us here on Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network. Not only for the last 30 days, I'm sure a great chance for you and your staff to get to know your guys better, but to know each other better too. I mean, Coach White's, you know him, but some of your defensive coaches don't know him a lot. How valuable has that been, and what kind of learning has been going on in that phase?
Yeah, we've hired a lot of people, and while some people might have connections to me, they've never worked for me, and that's a completely different animal. And I say work for me just in terms of the hierarchy. I think we all work together. We work with each other, and the way we do things is a little different. It can be challenging for some people because it's just a different way, a different mindset, a different approach to doing things. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It just is what it is. It's what I know and what we do. So it always takes a little bit of time. I think our group has assimilated better than other staffs I've been on. I think there's a real commitment and focus to the student athletes from our people. And I think the way that our players have adapted, you take a guy like Luke Reimer, he's had a ton of success, one way of doing it, and he's just kind of bought into this way, and he's trying something new. And when you see players doing it, it's hard for coaches and staff to not do it as well. Yeah. And so, but I think, unfortunately, a lot of us are away from our families. It's really hard. But the one benefit of it is that you have a lot of time together. And so whether they're, you go out to eat together or you're in the office together, you can at least start to build some connections.
We're a week or so away from actually transitioning to the practice field, which you said the other day is your favorite time of the year. Looking forward to that. And what are some goals you're going to set for you, the staff, the players, to accomplish over the next month and a half?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is in our philosophy and the way that we want to do things, practice. Football practice is the most important thing. The basketball team can play pickup basketball all year round. Baseball can go play summer leagues. Football, you get the season and you get spring football, and that's it. The rest of the year you're lifting weights, maybe throwing a little 7-on-7, but you can't really perfect your craft unless you're on the practice field. And so learning how to practice is a really big deal to me. learning how to compete, learning how to go out there and deliberately practice something to get better at it, having the courage to do what we call deep practice, where you challenge yourself so much that you're going to fail, but you continue to improve and improve and improve. And those are things that can be difficult for guys to learn. So if anything, I mean, I want to learn our systems, I want to tackle well, I want to do all these things really well, but if we learn how to practice, it's something that will really carry us forward into the season. Like when you watch last year's team and you watch them from the beginning of the year to the way they played against Iowa at the end of the year, that was a team that improved. And so that only comes from practice. That only comes from meetings. And so this spring is really important for me. We can't try to learn it next fall. We need to learn it now, so we make a huge jump and then make another jump in the summer, make another jump in training camp, and go battle it out during the season.
Morning practices for the spring?
Yeah, we'll practice in the morning and then send the guys off to class and then bring them back for meetings in the afternoon.
How have they been taking care of that part of it, the academic part of things? Have you been happy with the way that they're keeping their nose to the grindstone that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've instilled a lot of structure. Dennis LeBlanc and his staff do a fantastic job, and these guys are, they're taking it seriously. They're responding, and I think hopefully what they recognize is they have a coaching staff who doesn't just say, hey, go do well in school, but that knows exactly what they have coming up, exactly what they need to do, that supports the academic staff, because these kids are here. They're here to improve their lives, and there's no better way to improve your life than getting a great education. Not just getting a degree, but get a great education, which can open up doors for you way after football's over.
Spring ball, how much of it, Coach, is it install or fundamentals? What's the percentage, the breakout of that? Do you get everything installed in the spring, or do you save some for when you get back here in August?
Yeah, we won't put everything in, and really, I want coaches who tailor what we do to the players that we have, and so we'll put enough in that we challenge them. We want them learning how to. I mean, our opening day install in the NFL for the red zone was 139 plays, and so if you install 13 plays here, then they have to learn how to do that 100-fold when they move forward, or 10-fold. So I want to challenge them, but at the same time, the game to me is all about blocking and tackling. It's about executing your assignments. It's about making plays when the opportunity comes. It's about dominant contact, taking care of the football, attacking the football. So we will always err on the side of execution, on technique, on effort, but we will want to challenge them as well, because the more we see them do, the better picture it gives us for the fall of, hey, we're not going to be as good at this. Let's focus more on this maybe.
Do you generally kind of know you're too deep coming out of spring, or is it still fluid?
Oh, I think it's very fluid, especially in year one. I mean, guys are going to make huge jumps this summer. Guys are going to make huge jumps in fall camp. There'll be some guys who don't have a great spring maybe because they're still thinking a lot. But, we had a dunk contest today, and there were some guys that got up there and they did things I had no idea they could do. And that's not negative. It's just another exposure for me, like seeing them in a different element, seeing them on the basketball court. I think it was like Emmett Johnson was like catching windmill dunks, and Alex Bullock was 360s. And so the more I see, the more we see, the more we're exposed to what's the greater truth in the end. And so, some years, yes, but I think the first year, man, we're gonna just compete all the way through, and we want to have that kind of a team. We want guys that are, in the middle of the season, they're still competing to try to find a way to get on the field. That's all I ever wanted, was an opportunity to show what I could do, and I'm sure that's what the players want.
Kind of a big picture question. You mentioned the lack for football teams to get together and actually practice. Would you like to see the NCAA allow more practice time? What would you, if I could make you anoint you the head of the NCAA for a day, would you change some of that or not?
I think I would change some of the off-season rules right now. Like, I don't know why we can't go out there and throw 7-on-7, like why I can't be out there with the guys when, I guess any rule they make, someone's going to abuse it. But I just never thought that me as a football coach working with one of our young people on their craft should be a violation. Me meeting with someone to teach them, like there's no limits on the amount of times the chemistry professors can work with the chemistry students on campus. And so, again, if there's limits and time frames, I think that's probably important. But limiting the activities of what we can do, But no one really asked me. You asked me my opinion, so thank you. But the NCAA hasn't asked me yet, and I understand the hard job that they have. But we'll just try to always maximize what we're doing when we're doing it.
You've had some other head coaches come visit your practice. I know Mark Manning came and talked to your team. That was probably a special time, and you got to talk to the basketball team the other day.
Yeah, Coach Manning, I have so much respect for him. The way I see football, when I walk around the wrestling room and see the sayings on the wall, kind of the ethos of that program, it's what I'd like us to be. And so I've really enjoyed getting to know the wrestlers. I've enjoyed going to the matches. And, he came by and, just was really a thrill for us to have him. Kind of put him on the spot, said, "Hey, Coach, get in here and talk." But he did it because it's what he believes in, and it's an honor to be on the same coaching staff as Fred Hoiberg and Amy Williams and all the different people that are here. In our Husker games today, the soccer team, the golf team, they all participated with us.
Sweet.
So there's just such a great athletic community here, and honored to be a small part of it.
April 22nd, spring game. Over 45,000 tickets have already been sold. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot more once we get closer and people see the weather. Can you sense the passion that this fan base has for this program?
Oh, yeah, it's hard to miss. The passion's pretty special. And so, I think we'll have recruits here for that game. I think it sends such a good message. It sends such a good message to recruits that, even in the midst of there hasn't been the winning seasons that we've wanted here at Nebraska. There's a love of the game. And I think there's no better message to send to somebody than, hey, football's important here. We might not have everything somewhere else has, but we have what we need. And that's great, great, great people, great coaches, great staff, great support staff, great administration, a great university, and most importantly, great fans in a great state. So, the recruits that will come to that game, I think the amount of people that are there will send a great message. And while I hope it's a beautiful day, that'd be wonderful, I'd love it if it was ugly out there too, man. Because you know what? That's the way football's supposed to be played. And what I like about our team is they seem to be pretty rugged. I put them out in the snow one day thinking maybe they were going to complain, and they came running out like excited. I almost brought a tear to my eye. I was like, wow, we got real guys. And so that spring game, they've earned the right. I just believe in earned the right. People always want to ask me about the season and all that. I'm like, I haven't earned the right to talk about the season yet. But I'm hoping that they have a great spring practice so they can earn the right to go out there and enjoy playing a game in front of that crowd for the spring.
Enjoy your spring break. Can't wait to see you on the practice field here in a few weeks.
Thank you.
Matt Rhule with us here on Sports Sunday. Folks, buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. More of the show coming up next.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Fahm with Campus News. Students in Nebraska's Rake School of Computer Science and Management created software that is saving a Nebraska e-commerce company 34,000 hours of work per year. Created by a group of 5 Rake School students for their Design Studio Capstone project, this software is one of 300 real-world software solutions created by Rake School students.
Brings home the 2-1. Swanson swings and drives one to left center. That's hit a long way. It is deep and it is gone. Gabe Swanson into the teeth of the wind in left center.
Hey Husker fans, tune in tomorrow for some afternoon baseball with the Big Red. The Huskers take on Illinois State at Haymarket Park with radio coverage beginning at 3:30 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Thursday night, Sports Nightly. Great to have the head football coach. We really haven't had him in studio since the December signing period. He popped on our live stream show there. He's really fun to talk to and listen to. I hope everybody got a kick out of just listening to him.
Yeah, and he's so cerebral about the things that he says, and I feel like, which you did a good job not asking the same question, but I feel like we got a lot of information from that interview that he didn't talk about in the press conference, which, anytime you can get new and different information is always great. So, but yeah, I love the part about spring football. He's like, I hope there is bad weather because that's what football is.
He's right.
Like, that was awesome. As fans, and me personally, I am really hoping that it's 80 and no wind.
All right, you've been through 2 seasons. What have you had? 2 really?
I've only had one
ones?
spring game.
No, I know, but how many bad football games where it was just kind of miserable? You had one home game this year was really, really cold.
Yes, that was awful.
But other than that, it's not been bad. We haven't really played in the rain.
I mean, Michigan was kind of just because it was like coming down. So
we had a little bit of kind of sleet or something. It was kind of coming down.
It was just snowing like really hard, and then it was like wet, sticky snow.
Yeah.
But. Which is kind of hard to like maneuver equipment like that, And then, but that was, but no, 2 bad ones. And I didn't go to Wisconsin last year. If that was bad,
it was cold, but it wasn't brutal. Dennis, have you guys seen the video of Omar Brown carrying an offensive lineman on his back during one of those drills? I think it was Teddy Prohaska.
It was.
Wasn't it that he carried?
No, I just was told this.
It wasn't Teddy?
Was it Teddy? I don't know. It was.
I thought it was Teddy.
But that was what was funny about, and you'll hear more about this from Ed Foley. They draft their teams, and so you have to be strategic about that, or else you're left with Omar Brown carrying an offensive lineman. But hey, he fought hard for his team. That's part of it. It's so genius, this concept, and how guys come together, and you get to know guys in a different way, and you're competing, and there's so many positives that you take away from this. And there's a rhyme or reason to why they do this competition. And again, we're gonna get all the ins and outs of it from Ed Foley coming up. But yeah, it's been fun to watch, and it's brought the team together, and they want to be able to compete for each other. They don't want to let the person down. So Omar Brown doesn't want to let his team down. So hey, Teddy, hop on the back.
Go, let's go. Look it up and double check me on that. But we're going to hear from the commissioner, Ed Foley, who's the special teams coordinator. He runs this competition week. Jessica caught up with him. We're going to have that for you coming up in hour number 2. You're going to want to hear that coming your way in just a little bit. 402-413-2400, the number to be dial up a comment or question either with a call or a text. The Huskers will start spring practices in about 10 days. Next week, spring break. Everybody clears out. Then they come back, and it's go time. Headed to that April 22nd spring game. 45,000 tickets have been sold for that spring game.
It was Teddy.
That's why I thought it was Teddy.
Yeah.
And Teddy's one of the biggest guys on the team.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he be? I mean, he's the tallest. I don't know if he weighs the most. There's probably a couple defensive linemen.
That's what Jeremiah said all along. He needs to put on more weight. He is definitely tall. I think probably Benhart's probably the tallest, right? Now.
Oh, Teddy, I think, is taller than Bryce.
Taller than Benhart?
I think so. And I would bet Ty Robinson weighs more than Teddy. And who else would weigh more than Teddy? There's got to be some couple other guys.
I mean, shout out Teddy for being the co-points winner along with Chief Borders. That shows you that he's bought into this offseason.
That's very good. All right, I need to step aside and get a break in, but also time to tell you to buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We're back to wrap up hour 1 next.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Looking for a car buying experience tailored to you? Start with Woodhouse, a trusted partner for automotive needs and a proud member of the Nebraska community. With 18 brands and 21 sales and service locations, our dedicated Woodhouse team is ready to provide you a convenient and seamless transaction from anywhere. Whether purchasing, selling, or servicing, experience the difference with Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Cornerstone Bank proudly serves Nebraska with a full line of loan and deposit products. Cornerstone is large enough to handle all of your financial needs while offering the personal service you deserve and the local decision-making you expect from a family-owned community bank. Stop in or call one of the Cornerstone Bank locations near you to discover the Cornerstone difference. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
We're back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Here's a question on the text line. Why do they keep having a TV camera under the hoop where Allison Widener got hurt? This is from her crash in the Kansas game right before Christmas. You maintain that she didn't hurt the knee on the collision.
No, I think it went out before she. I think that's what kind of
caused her to stumble.
Yeah, from the looks of the video, and she might have even told me that. I can't remember.
She collided with the guy, but I don't think her knee hit the guy.
That's like, because she tore her ACL. So, like, you don't really tear your ACL if you're banging into somebody. It's usually a cut, that causes that, a bad take to the hoop, or just usually knee on knee doesn't normally
do it.
Cause that.
It's usually a twist of your foot on a plant,
or a bad plant, or maybe you come down on it weird, or but usually it's when you plant and go, and it's something which I think that's what she was going in for, a layup. And
her recovery going okay?
Yeah, I mean, well, her, she's going to attack it like a champ, and she's she's going to come back stronger. There's no doubt in my mind. There's some athletes you might, I wonder how they're going to come back from it. With her, there is no fear, no doubt that she's going to come back better for it. She even told me, I had talked to her a couple weeks after she had the surgery, and she even told me just how much she's learned sitting on the bench, which is another thing that athletes a lot of times take away from an injury. That if you haven't missed a lot of time and you're forced to sit over there on the bench, you can think you know the game and understand what coaches are telling you until you sit over there and hear it and see it from a different perspective. And she had already told me how much she had learned about the game, and just, because she's going from a freshman to a sophomore. And so I think her knowledge of the game has improved. And, she is such a competitor that she is going to be doing everything she's supposed to be doing to get back on that court.
We've talked so much on the men's side about the injuries to Juwan and Emmanuel. You forget about McPherson, who tore his knee in the summertime.
Who was going to help at point.
He was the backup point guard.
Yep.
And he didn't play a minute all year because he got hurt in August or September when he went down. And so he's going to be back for next year. And
he was doing some good things.
I don't think he was going to start, but he was going to certainly be a nice backup.
And especially because Sam Griesel missed some time in the summer. And so Q was able to really get some good minutes there, and they liked what he was bringing to the table, and so he was absolutely going to be a piece of this puzzle this year that they had to figure out how to move on without. But he's a energy guy, great personality. He's so well liked in the locker room, and again, another guy that I think will hopefully provide some big positives for this team once he gets back.
Redshirted a year ago and then got hurt. So he's been here a couple years.
Yep.
And so he's a little bit older than what Jamarcus Lawrence is. He's a year ahead of him, and don't forget about Ramil Lloyd, who redshirted this year. So you got kind of a batch of some guards coming back to build with.
And oh my gosh, the kid from Nebraska that's
kid from up in Ashland Greenwood.
Yes.
Yeah, walk on.
They love him.
Yep.
And he kind of,
I'm drawing a blank on his name. Somebody on the chat room will get it to us.
Hold on, I got it.
Jackson?
Oh my. Cale Jacobson.
Jackson.
They he balled out when he first got here in the summer, and then I think he got hurt and had a little setback. Nate Linzer really bragged on him the other night when he was on the show. So
Great.
He's got a bright future, too.
Jessica, the chat room wants to make sure that everybody knows it's daylight savings time Saturday night. So make sure you turn those clocks.
That's when we lose an hour of sleep, right?
You lose an hour of
sleep. But I'd much rather have it for the
daylight till 7:30 at night. Going to be great. Hey, our Sports Sunday Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com. Anytime. They've got 18 brands, a huge selection of pre-owned you can always find what you were looking for with Woodhouse. Great first hour. We got a heck of a second hour as well. Come on back. Have some fun with us.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Both farmers and Division I athletes are alike in that every season presents a new opportunity.
Aurora Cooperative does what they always do, which is lean into every new opportunity. They focus on their roots and continue to stay tougher together with their farmer owners. These core beliefs are much like those of committed Husker athletes. Aurora Cooperative leans on their values of a strong work ethic to get any job done for their producers. Aurora Cooperative, tougher together.
Since 1993, Dakota Mac has offered fixed long-term ag real estate loans perfect for any stage of life. The rebellious 15-year loan, the here for laundry 20-year loan, and the 30-year loan who thinks they can tell you a thing or two about parenting. Whatever your needs, trust Dakota Mac with your legacy.
Hi, it's Nick Reno from Dakota Mac. Please call me at 308-380-7564 to learn all about our competitive rates on ag real estate loans.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, don't miss your chance to get a first look at new head coach Matt Rhule and the 2023 Husker football team. Be in Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 22nd for the annual Nebraska football red and white spring game presented by FNBO. Tickets are on sale now and are only $10 when purchased in advance and $20 on the day of the game. To secure your tickets today or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe. Our sports ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. The Big Ten men's basketball tournament continued today in Chicago. Rutgers probably ended Michigan's NCAA dreams as the Scarlet Knights win 62-50. Iowa's late season struggles continue. They drop a game to the Buckeyes. Ohio State on to the quarters, 73-69. In the second half, about 11 minutes to go, Illinois leads Penn State 51-49. The Nittany Lions also considered to be a bubble team. The last game of the day will pit Maryland against Minnesota. The Husker beach volleyball team is going to play 12 matches over the next 9 days in Hawaii and California. The Big Red will face California and Hawaii tomorrow. Husker softball traveling right now to Wichita to face nationally ranked Wichita State. Also, the Missouri State Bears are there as well. They'll face Wichita State tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Husker baseball will continue their 10-game homestand tomorrow afternoon against Illinois State. The first pitch of that series set for 4:05. Our pregame coverage begins at 3:30. Husker diver Kelsey Claremont secured her spot on the for the NCAA championships on the platform with a score of 496. The freshman from Canada finished 8th in the NCAA Zone D diving championships. The 1890 Initiative helping Husker student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for our final hour of Sports Nightly coming up on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
First pitch to Josh. Breaking ball hammered to left. That is absolutely crushed. Way out of here over the hitting facility in left field.
Now the Huskers were scrambled. Here's Shelley for three. Top of the key. You betcha. Jazz Shelley with a triple.
Rhule with the basketball drives the ball all the way to the hoop. Puts it up and in. Holy smokes. Holy cow. Sam Rhule puts Nebraska ahead by 1.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
We're back. It's hour number 2 of our Thursday night show, a show we did not think we would be doing tonight. We thought the Huskers would be playing in Chicago or getting ready to play the Maryland Terrapins tonight, but Huskers stay in Chicago is a short one. They get beat by the Gophers last night by 3 points, and so Minnesota will be opposite the Terps tonight. Huskers flew home today, and now we'll hope to hear their name called Sunday night for the NIT. Sunday is Selection Sunday. Both men and women's NCAA tournament and the NITs will be announced on Sunday night.
Yes, it'll be a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, sure will be.
Because still some hope both ways. Maybe for the women to they're not out of it yet. It's not done deal that they're not out of the NCAA, but are they going to get to host if they're in the NIT, which I think they'd love to do? I think Lincoln would love to have some postseason basketball. Will the men get into the NIT? There's still some questions, it's kind of a long wait to get there. Should be fun to follow. Hour 1, I hope if you've missed it, sorry you missed it, you can go back and find that on Huskers.com. We had the head football coach talking to us, Matt Rhule, wrapping up competition week. They're getting ready to let the kids go for spring break. Were you a big spring breaker? I was not. I don't think I ever did anything in college during spring break. No, I never did.
No Padre Island or...
Nope, I never went on spring break.
Cole, did you do anything?
No, it was generally just playing video games during my time in spring break.
One year, my brother, for his senior trip, he really wanted to go to March Madness. So we went to Phoenix. And so I was in college, but went back, and we went, that's what we did as a family. We went it was in Phoenix, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it was Gonzaga, Oklahoma, and I can't remember the other 2 teams that were there. But it was, that's my family. We're basketball people, and there's high school state tournaments a lot of times during spring break. College tournaments. I know one time we went to the Big 12 tournament in Dallas. In fact, probably you were calling some game down there. Do you remember when the Big 12 tournament was?
I do. Yeah, I would, but I was not.
Kirk Heinrich was.
I was not. Well,
do you remember Nick Collison and Kirk Heinrich were playing for Kansas at the time?
Maybe I was down there because I did K-State through 2002.
So we went down there then. So I remember basketball kind of surrounding spring break a lot of my life.
The NCAA tournament will have, for the men's side, will be in Des Moines next week for the first two rounds, and then Kansas City will have the Sweet 16 and a regional final coming up in a few weeks on the men's side. The women's sites have been determined for the first 16 hosts have been determined. Iowa City would be probably the closest one to here for people if they wanted to go watch some of the tournament action.
It'd be intriguing to see what Iowa does. I think they're pretty mad about what happened last year.
They didn't make it very far.
Creighton upset them, so
Yep.
I think it's kind of fueled them a little bit.
Knocked them off. All right, we talked to Coach Rhule a little bit about competition week last hour. Not a lot, because I didn't want to steal a lot of the thunder from the commish. And the commish is Ed Foley, right?
Yes, the commish is the keeper of all of the points. And, which, by the way, 45 seconds ago or just now, Nebraska football, so they put out a whole video breaking down the inaugural Husker Olympics. So we've seen the videos coming out and pictures coming out all day. We've talked about it a little bit. But they put together a video of that, highlighting that. They literally just dropped the blooper cut. The blooper cut. People almost missing on the golf swing, completely bricking on the basketball court, falling down on the ice, everything. So go check out both those videos. But yeah, this is team commitment week. So this is a big week, completely different from the competition that just wrapped up last week that was happening over the last 6 weeks. But we've seen it since off-season began and I was thinking, what is going on? Can somebody explain it? And so I was talking about doing a couple other things, and I was like, with Mike Wallace, actually, and he said, well, let's get Ed Foley on. He's the commish, and you can just have him explain it. So here is Ed Foley explaining the competition that has been taking place with Husker football. We've heard a lot about this competition. We've seen it all over social media. We heard Coach Rhule talking about it at his press conference. Tell us about it. How did it start? Why? All of the ins and outs of where it began.
We're into at least our 10th year doing this. And we started it at Temple, and we started it by breaking the team, and it was kind of a, how do we get the team to compete and hold each other accountable and all that. So we decided, and it was probably a model that had been done before, but basically we break the team into teams. So here we have 10 teams of 11 guys, and we give them points for achieving certain goals and attending different things academically and football wise, and we take points away if they don't, and then we create that competition. And over the years, we wanted to focus more on the athleticism and the competitiveness, so then we added this team commitment week somewhere along the way, and now made it into 2 postseason competitions, which is the competition period, which is a 6-week period of just training, and then this is team commitment week, which is the culmination before spring ball of doing different activities. So, for example, during our competition period, the physical competitions on the field happen every Friday, but in team commitment week, they're every day. So it's amplified. The amount of points is amplified. We redraft the teams so the kids kind of get the understanding of what is going on in the first 6 weeks, and then they can take it and really run with it during team commitment week, and they've been doing that.
That's awesome. Can you break down some of the ways you get points and get points taken away? Because, we've seen the Husker players at all kinds of athletic events, all of that.
Yeah, basically, we work with academics, and in academics, there's a series of goals that they have to reach academically, so they can achieve points academically for achieving those goals, whether that's tutoring appointments. It's not based on the actual grades. It's based upon showing up and completing the work, and then also it can be taken away. So if you don't show up for a tutoring appointment, or you don't hand in an assignment, or don't do something that you said you were going to do, then it works the other way that way. There's it's 5 points for a community service event, and it's 2 points for attending any other Husker event. So whatever those events are that are going on, they would get 2 points for attending those. And then we have on Fridays, like I said, in the competition period, we have team events, so the teams will compete against each other, and they can earn points. It's different scales for that. They can earn for on repetitions, or they can earn it on, if I finish in first, I get this amount of points, etc. And then in team commitment week, we eliminate some of the point opportunities, so the negatives are accentuated, and then there's a competition every day. But essentially, you're still going to get your 5 points for your community service, and your 2 points for your for your attending the other events.
So, and then they draft.
Yes.
Is that pretty entertaining?
The draft is tremendous. Yep. The draft is great because they, what was really, really interesting to me, just in terms of doing this for a while, not the competition part, but just being around kids for a while, is the first time we did the draft, they drafted by, oh, this guy's a good football player, or this guy's my friend, and then the second time we drafted, they were trying to figure out, okay, who's going to get me the most points? And those groups are not, there's not always a lot of crossover in who my friends are versus, who's going to get me a lot of points. So that was really, really kind of cool to see the difference in the draft from one event to the next.
It seems to have built a tremendous camaraderie, and then the competition part of it, and then it's a hard time at that, and then you're adding a little bit of maybe fun to it at this time of year. There's so many positives to this. How did you guys come up with all these things that could help a team during this time?
Well, the number one thing to me is accountability. So there's and that kind of, we discovered that after doing it. It was designed to, create some competition. But then when you start taking away points for missed tutors or being late for a workout, and there wasn't a lot of that going on here, but there is now some team involvement for accountability, and when the accountability comes from your own team of players, your peers, to me it's pretty powerful. So that's a really important part of what we're building. But to be honest with you, and not having been here and this, going through the 6-week competition, I think the camaraderie was here. I think this just allows the guys to kind of bring it out, which has been really cool to be part of these guys.
How much do you see, too, just maybe guys that, because it's a huge team and a big locker room, and guys that maybe weren't hanging out, kind of getting to know each other, maybe you get to know the people on the team in ways that you wouldn't have before?
1,000%. Plus, add the new guys in. Mm-hmm. So when with the new guys into the program that had just gotten here in January, when you go through the first draft, those guys are like bottom rounders because nobody knows them. Those guys were, I'm trying to think if one of them was even a captain. I don't think any of them made it to the captain level, but I'll bet you there was at least a handful of guys that ended up being first rounders. I mean, Chief Borders won the individual competition as a first-year guy, so he was a first-rounder in the second draft. I can't remember where he got drafted in the first draft, but I know it was a lot lower than that. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely see guys that don't know each other, or they know each other. Oh, that guy's the O-lineman, but now all of a sudden that's the O-lineman that, he got 140 points in the first part of this thing. I better get him on my team.
So, and then there's coaches that are kind of oversee, right?
Yep.
And we've even seen some of those staff members and coaches participating in some of those on-field competitions. Who would you draft #1 overall on this coaching staff?
I'm gonna leave that for another time, but because the reason I say that is there's a few guys that are really good athletes that really get after it, and it also depends on the event. Mm-hmm. There's a couple guys, if I'm going with a lifting event, I'm going with T-Knight or Gus. If it's an athletic competition, I may be going with Adam or Coop. So it depends on what we're doing. But the staff's got some there's some competitors on the staff.
How much does this, too, allow for leaders to emerge? Maybe some leaders that weren't in some positions, but to be more vocal, to, I guess, just build their leadership style and when they're leading this type of competition? Yeah,
I mean, it definitely builds that, and it definitely guys have stood up, that you weren't sure about them or whatever, or they hadn't been asked to do something like that in the past, and it definitely helps that. It also, the other thing that it helps really is you can see who the followers are, and I don't mean followers in a bad way. I mean guys that are willing to do what it takes to help their team, so that you can see where the guys are compliant, where they're like, okay, I want a team now. This guy's the leader. The coaches, where are the coaches in this whole thing? Well, they're kind of out of it, so where am I going to go here? And the teams that end up coming together the quickest, we talked about that accountability before, but the teams that come together the quickest do the best and score the best.
So I cover all sports, obviously, and have heard from every sport how much it's meant to them that you guys are there supporting them, that this is a part of the competition, and while you get rewarded for going, why was that an important part of the competition, is going and supporting these other athletic teams that are here at Nebraska? Because
it's supporting each other. I mean, we're a family. We just got here. I know we're the new members of the family, but I think I would guess if this place is like, and I know it is, but I'm saying other places that we've been, they're coming to our games. and we're going to their games because that's what we do. I mean, that's part of what the culture is that we want to be part of. So it's really that simple. It's like, you're going to come support us, we're going to come support you.
That's awesome. Well, tell us about a little bit more about Commitment Week and what goes into that.
Commitment Week is a little bit of a ramp up on the physical side. So we kind of pare down the weight room, the true time in the weight room, and create a little bit more field time where we're together. And it's these are a series of exercises that we do that are built for competitions. Sometimes we do it circuit style. Sometimes there's a lot of different formats, but basically it's a little bit more time on the field. I don't know the exact time, but basically the competition becomes a little bit more about conditioning, hard work. There's some teamwork elements of it. So it's a more physical part of it, and then there's a lot more points to be gained from that working together as a team and completing exercises and tasks on the field.
So you had the off season, then you had Commitment Week, then you have spring break, and then you guys will hit the field for spring practice. How do you feel about how this team progressed over these last few weeks?
It looks like a different team to me, just in the way that the team is able to come together and figure things out and follow directions, we've learned it from them as well, but it looks like a different team. I think we're in a little bit better physical condition than when we got here, which is to be expected. I think we're a little bit stronger, and I think we're a lot more together as a team.
Coach Rhule said spring ball is his favorite time of the year. Are you on that camp too?
I love spring. I mean, coaching football, coaching college football is a great job because there's a number of different challenges throughout the year, and I love this time that we're just completing. But it's time to move on to the next phase, and spring football is great because now you get to see these things that we're starting to build. Now we put them into true football movements. So now does the mat drill, does the Commitment Week carry into being a good punt unit? Is it going to help us? I know the answer. I know that it does, but I want to see how, and then who's going to be able to take what we've done with the workouts and then have it translate into execution. Because at the end of the day, we all have to execute football plays to win games. And what we've done has been great, but it's not executing football plays. So now we get to see all these things that are very important in executing football plays now lead to the actual execution of the plays.
Coach Rhule also called out Brian Buschini yesterday, said he's a heck of a leader and really tough special teams, one of the toughest specialists he's ever been around. Have you liked getting to know him? Yeah, it's been great. And, when in the workout part of it, through the competition part, as the guys achieve better and they do better with the exercises, they get different colored jerseys, and the best guys get black shirts. And Brian ended up being a black shirt most of the off-season program. And when you have specialists and special teams players that are in black shirts, it leads to good things. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, he's awesome. He's a character. I also had to, for timing purposes, had to cut out the part that we talked about potentially starting a food series with him, where he goes and tries new food across Nebraska, and he had a series like that at Temple, so where he had talking food, and so hopefully we'll get that going. But he actually gave some of his favorites that he's already been to too. But
I would not have needed very many guesses to name which guy was the commissioner. I would have got him pretty quick. If he wasn't my first choice, he might have been my second.
Yeah, you kind of need someone that's like gonna be like strict but also fun.
Yep.
And keep it going and motivate. And, also, too, a special teams coordinator, they're a guy that literally touches everybody on the team. And so he knows everybody. So, yeah, no, I mean, not shocking either to find out he was the commish.
Were you surprised Monday when Coach Rhule had his press conference that he mentioned by name Brian Buschini?
No, and that was another thing that I asked Coach Foley about, and that he had – they give away black shirts for guys that do it the right way and all that. I mean, there's some complicated systems going on in how they do it, but it's again, a motivating thing. But I'm not at all. I mean, and I did an extensive interview with Brian Buschini. We're working on a feature, which is incredible. He's got an incredible story in the upcoming months. And I think he's a guy, and I saw it on the sideline too. A lot of specialists don't interact with the team a lot, and might do their own thing and just sit and wait for their time to run out onto the field and do their part. But he was involved. He was talking to the defense. He'd go, talk with the offense. And the guys like him. He's well liked on the team too. So I think He kind of had that in him last year, and I think he's really been allowed to really thrive, and I think they really like him and appreciate him for it.
That's cool. Good stuff there with Ed Foley. Hey, our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you were looking for with Woodhouse. 402-413-2400, the number to be a part of the program with a call or a text. When we come back, another installment of Jessica's Title IX series. We'll hear from Husker women's gymnastics coach Heather Brink. That's next.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sappbros.net. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
Hot dogs! Get your hot dogs!
Over here.
Hot dogs, sir?
Nah, but when does the Nebraska Lottery guy come around?
Who?
Well, you know, the guy who sells Nebraska Lottery scratch and lotto tickets.
Sorry, sir. Nobody like that around here. You need to go to a Nebraska Lottery retailer.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well, when does the chocolate souffle guy come around?
You don't go to many baseball games, do you?
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Brings home the 2-1. Swanson swings and drives one to left center. That's hit a long way. It is deep and it is gone. Gabe Swanson into the teeth of the wind in left center.
Hey Husker fans, tune in tomorrow for some afternoon baseball with the Big Red. The Huskers take on Illinois State at Haymarket Park with radio coverage beginning at 3:30 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of June 2022. Duteau Subaru in Lincoln and DuteauSubaru.com.
Hello, tomorrow. We may not know exactly what you've got in store for us, for our routines and our normals. But here's the thing. Turns out, we've got this. We haven't seen everything, but we have seen ourselves be more ready for whatever you bring than we thought we would be. So when it comes to tomorrow, bring on the day. First Interstate, built for you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Visit us at firstinterstate.com.
The Huskers provide reliability on the field, and so does Kubota. Kubota's BX Series subcompact tractor is reliable, comfortable, and versatile. The BX is available in 4-wheel drive with gross engine horsepower from 16.6 to 24.8. The BX Series can comfortably and efficiently perform a variety of daily tasks, including gardening, landscaping, and general property maintenance. Experience the Kubota difference. Visit nebraska-kubotadealers.com or visit Kubota Omaha in Omaha or Osceola Implement in Osceola.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. It is a Thursday night here on Sports Night. It's our last show of the week. We'll have Husker baseball tomorrow as they take on Illinois State. Weekend series with the Redbirds out of the Missouri Valley Conference. 4:05 first pitch tomorrow afternoon. Let's head to the phones. Let's go up to West Point. Husker Dan joins the program. Good evening, Dan.
Hey, kids. How's it going?
Oh, we're great. Good to hear from you.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, I just got a couple things I want to talk to you guys about. And the first thing is, in the beginning of the season when we're trying to figure, I get a bunch of guys in my garage. We watch basketball on TV when it's on TV, and a lot of new names and stuff. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is going to be kind of hard to, even Casey. At first, I'm like, I told them guys, I said, I'm just going to call him Chow because from the movie Hangover. Because it's like, oh, I'm never going to get his name right. But after the season went on, it's like, oh, Casey, that's easy to say. But, well, it stuck, so I just kept calling him Chow. But anyway, we should be in Chicago yet. Them guys, so fun to watch, and I just hope, I don't know if you guys know, is Casey even going to considering coming back?
Yeah, I think he is. I think that they've got to make that determination in the next couple of weeks. I think Coach Hoiberg will sit down with him and Casey's parents and talk about, what's best for him. I don't know if he's leaning one way or another, but I think we'll probably have an answer in a couple of weeks.
I've been told twice this week that NIL rules are changing, or I've either been told or I've heard that NIL rules are changing for those foreign student athletes who have not been able up until now to make money. So I think that might change, which also helps on the women's side with a player named Jazz Shelley. So, hopefully they get that intact, and then, you can keep some of these student athletes that could potentially go make money and probably have more lucrative careers in their home countries.
Well, gosh, that's a no-brainer. And my second thing I want to talk to you guys about, Greg, I just want to tip my hat to you with the baseball. You doing baseball is just, I don't think there's anybody else that could do a better job than you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. This is going to be a fun team to follow. Oh, no kidding.
Actually, even watching that walk-on kid, the Swanson, wow. Just listening on the radio, them kids, it just seems like the team is just gelling, and I know we won some big games, rated teams, and then of course we we lost that last one, but it's going to happen, and we're just only going to get better from here on out.
Come bundle up, Dan, if you're coming to the games this weekend. It's going to be chilly. Always good to hear from you, and I know you got season tickets out there, so hope we see you at the ballpark here in the coming weeks.
I think Casey will come back. I don't know. I mean,
do you?
I think with the NIL rules changing, I think you could tell how much he loves it. You could tell how much it means to him to play in front of arenas like this. You don't always get this back, and I think he could always. The thing I think that might be a little challenging for some of these student athletes is it's an Olympic year. So you think about if you want to represent your home country in the Olympics, that might be something that they are leaning towards. But I think, one more year, he really broke out onto the scene, got comfortable and confident in his role really just at the end of January. And so, one more year doing this now that he's figured it out, I think would be huge for him.
Folks, buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Going to slip a break in, and then we're back with Jessica's Title IX piece with Heather Brink.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Pham with Campus News. Nebraska has taken over leadership from Princeton University in coordinating the U.S. physics community at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. For its role, Nebraska has been awarded over $50 million in National Science Foundation grants. This cutting-edge work at the world's largest particle accelerator helps physicists uncover the origins and makeup of the universe.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Farmers can make what seems impossible reality with a little hard work and ingenuity. They find solutions to reduce inputs and improve their yield. Valley Irrigation is no different. As the leader in irrigation technology, we deliver results and optimize your operation. Because when you have a vision for the future, you need the people that can make it possible by your side. Expect what's next. Expect what's possible from Valley. Visit us at valleyirrigation.com.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Josh Ahrens in Kearney, Scott Vermas in La Vista, or Dennis Malloy in Bellevue today.
It's Ram Truck Month at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair. Your shopping experience in new 2023 Ram 1500 will surpass your expectations. With Woodhouse Ram, your car buying journey is on your terms. In-store off Highway 30 in Blair or online at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com, where you can shop our inventory, apply for financing, and live chat with our sales team. Discover the 2023 Ram 1500 during Ram Truck Month, going on now at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red. Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Thursday night. For the last several months, we've been highlighting former Husker athletes, people that are involved in sports at the University of Nebraska, as we commemorate the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and you have another installment for us tonight.
Yeah, so Heather Brink, head coach for Nebraska women's gymnastics, had a heck of a career as a Husker student athlete. She won 2 national titles, was the first female ever to win an all-around title, and she also won a vault title, so she won 2 titles. And the big thing here is that her team went to the Super 6 finals. They finished in 4th place, but so when she clinched the all-around title, she was actually helping her team advance, and so she didn't even know she was winning it. But so we start the interview with her kind of going back and taking us back to when she won that individual all-around national title.
The best I can explain for you is the connection I had with that team my senior year. I wasn't rated the best. I wasn't even touted. I mean, well, back then you didn't have social media, so there wasn't really rankings like in that sense that we have today. But I remember watching or being able to kind of watch, okay, I'm ranked this. I think I can do it on vault, right? Like I think I can have a chance to be able to vie for that vaulting championship. And I trained the whole year, you know, with the plan of like, this is how I'm going to go into this event. But it wasn't even really on my mind, like, oh, this is what I have to attain as an individual. It was more about getting our team to the team finals and being able to celebrate that, right? The year, I believe it was my junior year, we didn't qualify as a team to NCAA championship. So going into that next year, that was more like the mindset of what I was going to do. And nothing gives you more reality check than going into your senior year, realizing there's no professional anything at the end of this, right? Like you have a finite amount of time, and maybe your freshman year, 4 years seem like forever, but as a senior going into your last year, you're like, this is what I got, right? Like this is the time I'm going to make the most of it. And I had, you know, reminders hanging in my locker, like if you're not doing it, somebody else is, and they're going to beat you. right? And I didn't want that feeling of regret, not just for me, but for my team. And I didn't want to be able to look my team in the eye and say, I could have done more, right? I could have done something more to help us get there. So Boise, right? We go into Boise, you're going through the events, right? And the all-around champion was crowned on that first day, so on preliminary day. And we're kind of going through the different events, and I'm just focused on, like, I just got to do my part to get the team there. You know, you get through vault, you go to bars, you do your balance. Beam was, like, by far the most nerve-wracking event. There's a video of me, and I'm like, oh, like it's over. You know what I mean? And then you kind of go to floor. But at the end of floor, like, I had no idea. I had no idea that I had, like, even been in that case. And so ran to my coaches, hugged my coaches. And then pretty soon, Seamus McKnight, who is the SID with basketball, men's basketball now, was our SID at the time. And he came over to Dan, our head coach at the time, and he's like, she won. And Dan's like, who won, right? You know, like, we weren't even thinking about it. And he's like, Heather just won the all-around, right? And so it's still at that moment, it just was surreal. Like, I don't know how else to explain it other than you're like, it's just the cherry on top of everything. But you know, for us, it was just the bigger goal of the team.
Can you just talk us through, because you were an athlete here, and then, you know, now that you're a coach here, just with Title IX and the kinds of opportunities that are now available for women athletes?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think because I have the history of being involved in the club program, I was just talking with one of our alumni, our first All-American, and she's like, you know, I actually transferred to Nebraska because of the Title IX opportunity that they had here. So I think it opened, and then, you know, then it inspired me to continue to go on, right? So for me, it's that full circle moment of she had the opportunity, then it inspires the next generation, right? It's hanging in my office. Our legacy is not our dream, but the next generation of dreamers that inspires their dream, right? And so I think that, to me, that's what Title IX really is about. It's not necessarily our dream that we accomplish. Like, it's more so the next generation of dreamers that we're able to kind of inspire through our own, right, our own dream. The other piece I'll say is I think sports in general are just really great for youth, right? I mean, I have 2 young kids of my own now, and I believe that sport teaches you life lessons, you know, and for women to have that same opportunity to learn those life lessons, and if that's confidence, if that's competition, if that's the drive to set a goal and figure out a way to make it happen, then those are the things that I think Title IX has really impacted.
You talked about earlier about how back then in gymnastics it was a very specific body type and look, and now you see all kinds.
Right.
How important has that evolution been, that the sport does have different, because it's about what you watch, right? And there are different, all kinds of kinds that you see doing the sport now.
Yeah, you know, I think that that's been a big thing for gymnastics, you know, in any sport really that has this body image, right, of things to try to work beyond. I'm pretty passionate about, like, you know, you are who you are, and every single person brings some form of strength. While I wasn't the, you know, long, lanky, over-flexible, graceful style of an athlete, I could do something better than they could. I just, in today's society, right, it really becomes the athlete and kind of being comfortable in their own skin. You know, and that's where the passion of that piece comes from. I think everybody brings something unique to the table, and just because it's easy for somebody over here doesn't mean something you have over here is easy for you is hard for them. It's just hard to see that when you're a teenager, right? And especially now with social media, right?
Love that. I love it. Was there a point where you had to realize that?
You know, I still I was always the fat athlete. Like, to be realistic with you, it was always about getting weighed in. I was anxious. You would not eat while you were at school because you knew they were going to weigh you in. I'd get caught cheating on weigh-ins and have to, you know, do extra conditioning. So those are all real things. I still to this day struggle with body image and body dysmorphia and kind of being comfortable in that the ability to just be who you are, right? It's really ultimately why I got involved in coaching, you know, is not only the love of the sport, but I always said I didn't maybe always know how I was going to do something, but I knew how I never wanted to make my athlete feel. And specifically for me, that was, you know, the way I was made to feel. Doesn't mean I did everything right from day one. It just means, you know, that's how I started the process, and still to this day drives a lot of the decisions, conversations, and how we go about doing things.
You know, about 5-10 years ago, the statistics of women's head coaches were very, very low, and we've seen that grow. We look here, you got Rhonda, Amy, yourself. Yeah. How important is that to have women in these leadership roles and be head coaches?
Oh my God, well, I turn to them all the time, right? Like I'll call up Rhonda and be like, hey, I have a question, or, you know, what do you think about this, or how have you handled that? I certainly think women empowering women and gives a whole nother level of connection. You know, when you feel like you have that person you can turn to for advice, but also feel understood in what you're kind of going through, because sport to sport might be different, but Nebraska's Nebraska, right? And we're all kind of in this together. We want Nebraska, we want the end to succeed. And it's really nice to be able to kind of rely on those people and ask them questions, ask for advice. We're all growing. Like I said, we all enjoy learning, right? I think that's why we do the coaching. And so it's really nice to be able to kind of rely back on that piece of it as well.
You talked about inspiring the next generation, making it better for the next generation. Obviously, you trained in the old facility when you were a student athlete here. You were presented as the new head coach in front of your team in that facility. And then a couple weeks later, you brought them here and you got to watch them see their brand new facility. What was that like from your perspective to see that you've made the future better for the next generation?
Yeah, you know, I think for me, there was a lot of times even in the buildings when I'd be able to come over and it was just quiet in here, and while things weren't fully finished, I'd stand up in my office and just look out the window and be like, how did I get here? How did I end up through this, starting a sport at 4 years old, and, you know, my life took so many different paths. Like, how did I end up in this position? So to me, it was like a little bit of a surreal moment to like circle back and go, I didn't even dream this as a little child. I just dreamt of doing a sport, and then that sport turned into a passion, and that passion turned into something that drove me, you know, in a different direction. I took a business job. I came back to gymnastics. I, you know, moved back home, and then, you know, came back to coaching, and was blessed enough to coach under, you know, our prior head coach, who was my head coach, and just had a lot of really great opportunities and doors open for me that I don't know if you could really script any better, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'll never forget the first day. More so, the first day I was actually looking out that window over the gym and just thinking, wow. You know what I mean? Like, just wow. Like, the facility, it's beautiful, but I don't know. I certainly hope people can feel my passion for Nebraska. And here I sit as the head coach in a place that, like, dearly holds my heart, and I just blessed. Blessed is probably the best way I can explain it.
I've just learned so much throughout this series of Title IX. That was a part of the Place episode interview that we did that was dropped on National Girls and Women in Sports Day. But appreciate Bank of the West that are making this Title IX series possible. Women-owned businesses are vital to a thriving culture of entrepreneurship, innovation, and responsible contribution to community and the planet. Bank of the West is proud to provide resources, training, and solutions to help you achieve your goals. Learn more at bankofthewest.com, member FDIC. And Heather Brink's Huskers coming off a big weekend last weekend over 197.5, the biggest, best team score of the season, and they're peaking at the right time. Last time to see them coming up this Saturday, 6 o'clock inside Devaney, and they got a big one against number 11 Denver.
That's crazy. This is the last home duel for them.
Yep. T-shirt giveaway too, by the way.
Awesome.
So.
Good for her. All-around NCAA champion. That is just so cool. Folks, buckle up. Put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We're back to wrap up tonight's show next.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's time again for some Nebraska farm facts. For Nebraska soybean farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices. And they have significant sustainability goals by 2025. 10% more energy efficiency, 10% less land, and 25% less soil erosion. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands, huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you were looking for with Woodhouse. Final few minutes of our show, our last show of the week. We have baseball tomorrow night. Huskers will host Illinois State, the Redbirds, in town for a 3-game weekend series. Saturday might be a little dicey. There's a lot of rain in the forecast for Saturday, so have to keep an eye on that. Friday, Sunday look like they're okay. Cold, though. I'm ready for spring to get here and stay here. I'm told when I was in Minneapolis Sunday, it was beautiful here on Sunday.
It
like
was
65 or something.
It was, and again, this has now been the third time that I walk out and see snow. I'm like, what the heck? I'm ready for this to be done. Over, out of here.
14 inches this winter. How about that? You have survived a winter with 14 inches of snow.
I'm surprised I did, but I did. I'm glad I got to ease into it last year.
I got to use my snowblower. I'm a happy camper. 2 years.
My dog loves snow, and even he today walked out like, not again. Please, not again.
That was gone by noon, though.
Yeah.
Melted away by noon.
I mean, we got up in the morning to go walk. I was like, what the heck is this snow again?
It's kind of pretty, actually.
I'm just ready for the warm. Just come on. Get here and stay here.
Do not forget to turn your clock. Flip her ahead Saturday night, lose an hour.
Man.
Sunday's a big day. Love Selection Sunday. It's so cool. Keeping fingers crossed that we get some good news for the Husker men and women. But it's a cool day. You see so much emotion around the whole country.
Yeah, no, it's a fun day, and a lot of nerves as both teams patiently await to see what the postseason holds. And speaking of the wrestling brackets just were announced yesterday, I'm headed down to Tulsa to help cover the wrestling national championships. We got some guys that could potentially do some cool things down there, so I'm going to take advantage of some family that live in Oklahoma and cover the Huskers wrestling.
Good for you. Plus, it'll be a little warmer for you down there.
Yes, I heard it's like 70s.
Warmer weather. So lots happening around here, men. Remember, women's gymnastics Saturday night at the Devaney Center. Baseball all weekend at home. Softball is on the road again this weekend. In fact, they're busing right now down to Wichita. So they'll be down there. Nate Worrell will have coverage here on the HRN starting tomorrow. 4:45 for pregame coverage for him as they take on the nationally ranked Wichita State Shockers. Thanks to Cole for steering the ship on this one here tonight. Pretty good little show for 24 hours ago. We're not expecting to do one. We threw this together pretty well, right?
That was pretty dang good show.
Yeah.
Lots of football talk today.
Well done, Cole. Cole did a great job, as always, there. I'll talk to you tomorrow from the ballpark. Have yourself a great night. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card. Free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal, because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in